Hello, and how are you, everyone? So we continue with our new chapter in chapter 11, uh, pricing strategies for firm. Pricing strategies for firm with market power. So in this chapter, we will try to apply a simple elasticity-based markup formula to determine profit maximizing prices in environment where a business enjoy market power, including monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. And then we will try to formulate pricing strategies that permit firms to extract additional surplus from customer, including price discrimination, two-part pricing, block pricing, and commodity bundling, and explain the condition needed for each of these strategies to yield higher profit than standard pricing. And this chapter also we try to formulate a pricing strategies that enhance profits for special costs and demand structures such as peak load pricing, cross subsidies, and transfer pricing, and explain the condition needed for each strategies to work. And we will also explain how that's pricing price matching guarantees, brand loyalty program, and randomized pricing strategies can be used to enhance profit in market with intense price competition. Okay. So as you can see from this chapter and this slide, the overview for that, we will divide it into four sub topic. Yeah, right. Basic pricing strategy. Yeah? Basic pricing strategy in monopolistic competition, economic oligopoly, extracting the surplus, customer surplus. Uh, okay, that include price discrimination, block pricing, two-part pricing, commodity bundling. Okay, and then pricing for special cost and demand structures. Okay, and then pricing in market with intent price competition. Okay? Where we look the price matching, brand loyalty, and randomized pricing. So usually in this matter we deal with a pricing decision by firm that have some market power. Firms in monopolistic, okay, competition, and oligopoly. As we learn in chapter 8, firm in perfect competition have no control over the price they charge for their product. Prices are determined by market forces. Therefore, the pricing decision in perfect competition is simple. Yeah, charge the same price as other firm in the market charge for their product. In contrast, which market power have some influence over the price they charge. Okay, so therefore, it is important for you as a manager uh, to learn some basic pricing strategies for maximizing a profits for firm. So this chapter provides a practical advice that you can use to implement such pricing strategies, typically using information that is readily available to managers. For instance, we will see how a manager can use publicly available information about demand elasticities to determine the profit maximizing markup used to set a product price. Yeah. Okay, this is the standard pricing and profit for firms with some market power. Okay, as you can see from here, there's a profits from standard pricing. So this area, okay. and is a marginal revenue equal to 10 minus 4Q, 4Q. Okay, and this is a marginal cost. Okay. So in this section, for basic pricing strategy, okay. So as you can see from this slide, for the basic pricing strategy, we have what we call as a monopoly and monopolistic competition, and then common oligopoly. Okay. So firm with market power face a downward sloping the demand for their product. Okay, downward sloping for the demand of their product. That's a firm with market power face a downward sloping demand for their product. This means that's by charging a higher price. That means the firm reduces the amount it will sell. The firm reduces the amount it will sell. Thus, there is a trade-off between selling many units at a low price and selling only a few units at a high price. As you can see from this graph. So this is a standard for market firm with market power. Firm with market power. Yes, that means so down. Okay, downward slope. For example, in here, for this demand function, marginal revenue is okay. For this firm's products, demand for firm product given, okay, P equal to 10 minus 2Q, right? Okay, P minus equal to 10 minus 2Q, and then the cost function, this is a cost function, CQ, okay, equal to 2Q, C times Q, okay, equal to 2Q. So if the firm must charge a single price to all consumers, so the profit maximizing price is obtained by setting the marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, okay. So if we put in this equation, we can calculate, and then the profit for this, and algebraic example is $10. Okay, this is very simple, an algebraic example for the standard pricing with market power. Standard pricing, profit with market power. Okay. So as we saw in the previous section, instance where a manager have estimate of the demand and cost function for the firm product, calculation of profit maximizing price is straightforward. In some cases, a manager lack access to an estimated form of demand or cost function. So this particularly true of a manager of small firm that do not have a research department or fund to hire economists to estimate demand and cost function. Fortunately, all is not lost in these instances. So it turned out that given minimal information about demand and cost, a manager can do a reasonable, good job of determining what price to charge for a product. Specifically, most retailers have a rough estimate of the marginal cost of each item sold. For instance, the manager of a clothing store knows how much the store pay the supplier to each pair of jeans and thus has accrued information about the marginal cost of selling the jeans. So this information is crude because the cost to the firm of buying jeans will slightly understate the true marginal cost of selling jeans since it does not include the cost of sales, forces and etc. Okay. So the closing store manager has some crude information about the elasticity of demand for jeans at its store. So chapter before this provided the table with estimate of elasticity of demand for representative firm. Okay. So thus even small firm can obtain some information about demand and cost from publicly available information. So all that remain is to show how this information can be used to make a pricing decision. Yeah. So the key is to recall the relation between the elasticity of demand for a firm product and marginal revenue, which we derive in the chapter that we discussed before. So this relation in summarized in the formula as we can see from here. Okay. So this is for a simple markup rule that suppose the elasticity of demand for firm product is EF. Okay. And since marginal revenue equal to P minus times 1 plus EF, okay, divided by EF. So setting marginal revenue equal to marginal cost and simplifying yield this simple pricing formula, okay, by times of marginal cost. Okay. So the optimal price is a simple markup. Optimal price is a simple markup over relevant cost. More elastic the demand, that means lower markup. And then less elastic the demand, that means we can higher markup. So it is very useful for formula that we can use for the firm in monopoly and monopolistic competition. So this is an example. It has an elasticity of demand for Kodak film is -2. Okay. So price equal to EF divided by 1 plus EF and times marginal cost. So P equal to -2, okay, divided by 1 -2 and times MC, marginal cost. So P equal to 2 times marginal cost. So price is twice marginal cost. Price is twice the marginal cost. So 50% of the product price is a margin because a manufacturing cost. So recall that a Conan oligopoly, there are few firms in the market servicing many consumers. A few firms, that means normally not more than 10, servicing many consumers. So the firm produce either differentiated or homogeneous products, and each firm believe rival will hold their output constant if it changes its own output. So in chapter 9 we saw that to maximize the profit, in game oligopoly, in this chapter, in previous chapter, a manager of a firm in Conan oligopoly produces where marginal revenue equal marginal cost. So we also saw how to calculate the profit maximizing price and quantity given information about demand and cost curve. So recall that this procedure requires full information about the demand and cost of all firms in the industry, and is complicated by the fact that the marginal revenue of a Conan oligopolies depend on the output produced by all firms in the market. So ultimately, the solution is based on the intersection of reaction function. Intersection of reaction function. So fortunately, we can also provide a simple pricing rule that manager can use in Conan oligopoly. So suppose an industry consists of n Conan oligopolies, each having identical cost structure and producing similar product. So in this instance, the profit maximizing price in Conan oligopoly is given by a simple formula. Okay, so you can see that's a markup rule for Conan oligopoly. Okay, so normally it is homogeneous products. Then sorry. Okay, and then a total of firm in the industry, and then market elasticity of demands. Okay, market EM, elasticity of demands, and we denote as EM. Okay. And then elasticity of individual firms demands is given by of EF, firm equal to N's, which is total of firm in industry, times E, elasticity of market. So since P, price, equal to EF minus divide by 1 plus EF, okay, times MC. So then P equal to NEM, okay, and divide by 1 plus NEM, okay, time MC. So the greater the number of firm, the greater the number of firm here, N, okay, the lower the profit maximizing markup factor. That's a markup rule for oligopoly. Okay. For this example, you can see, okay, in markup rule for Conan oligopoly, homogeneous product Conan industry, let's say 3 firm, and marginal cost is $10. So elasticity of market demand equal to, okay, minus 1 by 2, and then it determine the we have to determine the profit maximizing price. Okay, we just put in all the information above, in this formula. Okay, so we can get that's price. Okay, profit maximizing price is $30. Profit maximizing price is $30. So this is example for markup rule for Conan oligopoly. So the analysis in the previous section demonstrate how a manager can implement the familiar marginal revenue equal to marginal cost rule for setting the profit maximizing price. So given estimate of demand and cost functions, such a price can be computed directly. By estimation of demand and cost function, we can compute directly the price. So alternatively, given publicly available estimate of demand elasticities, a manager can implement the rule by using the appropriate markup formula. In some market, a manager can enhance profits above those they would earn by simply charging a simple per unit price for all consumers. So as we will see in this session, several pricing strategies can be used to yield profit above those earned by simply charging a single price where marginal revenue equal marginal cost. So the first four strategies we will discuss about is price discrimination, to part pricing, block pricing, and commodity bundling are strategies appropriate for firms with various cost structure and degrees of market interdependence. So thus these strategies can enhance profits of firms in industry with monopolistically competitive or oligopolistic structure. So the pricing strategies discussed in this section enhance profit by enabling the firm to extract additional surplus from consumers. So most model examined to this point involve a single equilibrium price, and then in reality there are many different prices actually being charged in the market. So price discrimination is is the practice of charging different prices to consumer to the same good to achieve higher price. Price discrimination, this is first strategy that we use. Price discrimination is a practice of charging different prices to consumer for the same goods to achieve higher prices. So the three basic form of price discrimination, as you can see from here, is first degree price discrimination or perfect price discrimination, and second degree price discrimination, and third degree price discrimination. So up until this point, our analysis of pricing decision presume the firm must charge the same price for each unit that consumer purchase in the market. So sometimes, however, firm can earn higher profit by charging different price for the same product or service. A strategy referred as a price discrimination. So as we can see from here, there are three basic of price discrimination: first degree, second degree, and third degree. So as we will see, each type of require the manager to have a different type of information about consumers. So ideally, a firm who would like to engage in first degree price discrimination, that is charge each consumer the maximum price he or she would willing to pay for each unit of good purchase. By adapting this strategy, firm extract all surplus from consumers and thus earn the highest profit possible. So unfortunately for manager, first degree price discrimination, also called a perfect price discrimination, is extremely difficult to implement because it requires the firm to know precisely the maximum price each consumer is willing and able to pay for alternative quantities of the firm's product. So nonetheless, some service related business including car dealer, mechanic, doctors, and lawyers successfully practice a form of first degree discrimination. For instance, most car dealer post sticker prices on car that are well above the dealer actual marginal marginal cost but offer discount to customer on a case by case basis. So the best salesperson are able to size up customer to determine the minimum discount necessary to get them to drive away with the car. So it is in this way they are able to charge different price to different consumer depending on each consumer's willingness and ability to pay. So this practice permit them to sell more car and earn higher profit than they would if they charge the same price to all consumers. So similarly, most professionals also charge rates for their services that vary depending on their assessment of customers' willingness and ability to pay. And ability to pay. Okay, this is show us the first degree of perfect price discrimination. We charge different consumer with different price. So practice of is charging each consumer the maximum amount he or she will pay. That means if you take an example like I mentioned before, like professional of doctor, lawyer, sometimes they will charge different customer different price. So permit a firm to extract all surplus from a consumer. So this is showing us the difference between. Okay. So this is a perfect, for example, perfect price discrimination. Perfect price discrimination. Okay, so marginal cost is constant like here. Okay, total cost still equal to 8. And then this is a profits area, assuming no fixed cost. As this is just take note that no fixed cost. And then the profit you can see we can get as much as $16 here. Okay. So in practice, transaction cost and information constraint make this difficult to implement. In practice, transaction cost and information constraint make this difficult actually to implement perfectly. But car dealers and some professionals come close to practice of this. So price discrimination won't work if consumers can resell the good. Okay. And then this is showing us for the price discrimination in a second degree. So the practice of posting a discrete schedule of declining prices for different quantities. It's a practice of posting a discrete schedule of declining price. Discrete schedule of declining price for different quantities, and it eliminates the information constraint present in the first degree price discrimination. Right, as can tackle the problem about the information constraint present in the first degree price discrimination. This is example for electric utilities, right? So the slope of marginal cost is upward, and that's the demand function slope still downward here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I want to show you the first degree and second degree price discriminations graph, two different things. Okay, on the left side you can see first degree price discrimination from here. Okay, it seems like it's just only okay, different compared with the second degree price discrimination. First degree and second degree price discrimination. So this graph show how the first degree price discrimination work, and each point on the market demand curve reflect the maximum price that consumer would be willing to pay for each incremental unit of the output. And consumer start out with 0 unit of the goods, and the firm can sell the first incremental unit for $10. So since the demand curve slope downward, so the maximum price for the firm can charge for each additional unit decline, ultimately to maybe $4 at an output of 5 units. Okay, $4 at an output for 5 units. Okay, right. So the difference between each point on the demand curve and the firm's marginal cost represent the profit earned on each incremental unit sold. So that's the shaded area between the demand curve and the firm's marginal cost curve reflect the total contributions to firm's profit when it charge each consumer the maximum price he or she will pay for small increments of output between 0 and 5 units. Okay, so these strategies allow the firm to earn the maximum profit possible. Notice that consumer receive no consumer surplus on the 5 units they purchase. So the firm extract all surplus under first degree price discrimination, as noted earlier. However, this favorable outcome from the firm perspective can occur only if the manager has perfect information about the price that each consumer is willing and able to pay for each incremental unit of output. So in situation where the firm does not know the maximum price that each consumer will pay for good, or when it is not practical to post a continuous schedule of prices for each incremental unit purchase, so a firm might be able to employ second degree price discrimination to extract part of the surplus from consumers. Okay, so the second degree price discrimination is the practice of posting a discrete schedule of declining prices for different range of quantities. So as we discussed earlier, so this is the second degree. Okay, and then this practice is very common in electrical utility industry, where a firm typically charge a higher rate on the first 100 kilowatt hours of electricity used then on a subsequent units. So the primary advantage of this strategy is that the firm can extract some consumer surplus from consumers without needing to know beforehand the identity of the consumer who will choose to purchase small amount and thus are willing and able to pay a higher price per unit. So given the posted schedule of prices, consumers sort themselves according to their willingness to pay for alternative quantities of the good. So thus the firm charge different prices to different consumer, but does not need to know specific characteristic of individual consumer. Okay. So to illustrate how that second degree discrimination work, suppose that we can see from this graph. For example, there's let's say one company charge consumer for $7.60 per case for maybe one good. For the first two cases, purchase at $5.50 20 cent. The first, okay, that's first two cases purchased at $5.20 for each additional case. So the shaded region, okay, in panels B, okay, is this chart B, okay. So figure this show that's contribution to profit with this strategy. The first two cases are sold at a price of $7.60 each, and the shaded region between this price and the marginal cost curve reflect the firm's contribution to profit on sales of these two cases. So the second cases are priced as $5.20 each. So the shaded region between the price between that price and the marginal cost curve between two and 4 units. Okay, it's between 2 and 4 units, okay, of output, ended up with some consumer surplus, which mean that second degree price discrimination yield lower profit for the firm than it would have earned if it were able to perfectly price discriminate. So nonetheless, profit are still higher than they would have been if the firm had used the simple strategy of charging the same price for all units sold. So in effect, consumer purchasing small quantities or alternatively, those having higher marginal valuation pay higher prices than those who purchase in bulk. So the finance type, this is that means can increase the profit, okay, for the firm, and that's the final type of price discrimination is commonly practiced by firms that recognize that the demand for their product differ systematically across consumer in different demographic group. So in these instances, firms can profit by charging different group of consumer different price for the same product. Okay, a strategy refer to as a third degree discrimination. For example, it is common for a store to offer student discount, and for hotel and restaurant to offer senior citizen discount. Okay, so this practice effectively means that student and senior citizen pay less for some good than do other consumer. So one might think that these pricing strategies are institute to benefit students and senior citizen, but there is more compelling reason actually to increase the firm's profit. Okay. Okay, to see the example for here, okay, suppose the total demand for a product is comprised of two groups, okay, with different elasticity. Elasticity 1, elasticity 2. Okay, so notice that group 1 is more price sensitive than group 2. Okay, so how that we can determine the profit maximizing prices for these two group. Okay, so price 1, okay, you can calculate price 1, okay, equal to E1, okay, divided by 1 plus E1, okay, times MC, and then price 2, can calculate the same formula here. Okay, suppose the elasticity of demand for Kodak film in the US is EU, okay, EU, and it equal to minus 1.5, and then the elasticity of demand in Japan is EJ, elasticity for Japan's equal to minus, okay, 2.5. So marginal cost of manufacturing firm, okay, is $3. So we just put in, okay, this information all in our equation, and then we can get equal to, okay, equal to first in US, okay, equal to $9, and in Japan the price that we supposed to put is $5. So Kodak optimal third degree pricing strategy is to charge a higher price in the US, okay, so where demand is less elastic. Okay, so this is how that we can implement the third degree price discrimination in two group of consumer. Okay, for example in US and in Japan, so that we can charge, okay, higher price in Japan compare in US compare in Japan. So another strategy that firms with market power can use to enhance profit is two-part pricing. Two-part pricing. With a two-part pricing, a firm charge a fixed fee for the right to purchase its goods, plus per unit charge for each unit purchase. Alright, so we will continue in this two-part pricing for the part 2 in this chapter. Okay, until now, that's all for now. So we rest for a while for second part of this chapter.